The Federal Reserve's empowered to cut interest rates by 25 basis, and we can expect to see way more coming soon. But this means a lot of different things for us and you, especially as a home buyer or seller in Austin, Texas, or anywhere in the world actually, because when this stuff happens, we are essentially getting free money. But normally there's a precursor before that that makes the biggest difference. If you don't watch this video, you'll be left in the dark and potentially making a bad decision moving forward without this information. My team's done $1.6 billion in transactions over the past few years. I'm one of the top real estate agents in the country, and I've seen this trend time and time again. And I'm going to help you understand exactly what to do, what to expect, and why it's happening in our new economy. So without further ado, let's kind of walk you through exactly what I'm looking at to show you why this is happening and what's going to be the ultimate factor for you to plan accordingly. Federal Reserve cut this did a 0.25% in October 2025, so last month. And normally when we see this, we'll probably start seeing more and more and more as time goes on. And the reason why it's happening is due to the biggest thing, is a lot of weakening labor. You saw my last post a couple days ago about the state of the market. I was discussing how Meta and Elon Musk, between the two of them, unemployed and fired around 50,000 people. And this is happening in all ranges from small businesses to large businesses and in between. And with the rise of AI as well, I think we'll probably see even more of this. So normally this free money we're getting from the Federal Reserves is not just because they're feeling great and nice about it, it's because something's happening on a large scale to combat that. The last time this happened was after COVID. A lot of people were losing their jobs, a lot of things were going on in terms of being sick and everything like that. And with the government shutdown now, also back then as well, we saw a need to have this free money into the economy. Now, what I'm worried about, though, from a real estate perspective, is that if you look at what's happening for inflation, we can see the rise is happening more and more every single day. And to combat that even by himself, it takes a lot. You know, if you look back a decade ago to now, the inflation takes up a lot of our capital. What you used to spend at the store probably costs you way more now than it did a decade ago. And that is due to a lot of factors, from increasing in pricing, increases in inflation, and of course, what a lot of analysts are looking at. If you look on the paper, it says, great, this cut is going to be super helpful for people, help a lot of people get out of a bad situation. Right now in Austin, Texas, actually, we have our highest eviction we've ever seen in the city. And also, this is the best time as well to buy in Austin we've seen in the past 15 years. Which tells us why the cuts are happening on a deeper level. And this is despite seeing Bitcoin trading at an all-time high in the past year. Like, not the highest it's been, but we're at pretty much to the top of that in the past 5 years. The last time we saw a big dip like this was like 2022, kind of when we saw our last big shift from the big interest rates. Same for gold, also all-time high almost, we've seen for the longest time. We look at S&P, same exact thing. All of the major vehicles for liquidity, for being liquid and things like that, all up at the highest been. But we see inflation rising. We see home pricing in Austin drop by 6.8% on a year-one basis. Now, I'm not saying the market is gloom and doom, because I just sold a house last week for $100,000 above asking price within 2 days with multiple offers. And that's because I understand how to do marketing and pricing psychology and so much more, whereas we outperformed every home in the neighborhood, actually the entire zip code, by $180,000 average home run price, and also by 72 days on market difference. So we outperformed everybody in the whole area Also in the 5-year period, even in that same location up above, you're gonna see how that happened as well. Full breakdown what I'm talking about. Because in this market, when homes are dropping their prices as a seller, you have to be super aggressive to get the best price for your house. As a buyer, this is the best time to be super aggressive when it comes to negotiations and asking off more for prices. Like I got a home off the market for a client of mine for $1 million. It was a commercial property, so it was a little bit bigger. On a single family house, my biggest I've done is $373,000 off the ask price because this is the time to do so. And as we see this happening, just know that you should also expect to see an additional around 3 million new buyers for a 0.25 to 0.5% basis cuts in the market entering to buy properties, which means you'll probably see more homes and also probably see as well when more buyers for you too to kind of make sure that will happen. And that means that buying now before the market totally tanks, if it does, I'm not saying it will, is good for you as a investor or a buyer because every time it drops, it has more buyers, more competition, and people are less fearful. If you look at Warren Buffett, he always says, if there are blood in the streets, you should buy, you should act. When people are fearful, you should be aggressive. When people are aggressive, you should be fearful. And this is why it's so important to understand these federal cuts is a blessing to some degree. It will help a lot of people, but at the same time, they say that December 10th is our next price cut. It will happen. But Jerome Powell, office standing is up in 2026. Meaning that Donald Trump will probably place a new person in there, and to make him look better, we'll probably see even more price cuts as well as time goes on. And I do think that this may cause a huge bottom in the market because once money is easily free, that's when you need to be kind of careful because you know what normally happens next, like in 2008. Money was given to everybody almost for nothing. And even now, you can buy properties for DSCR loans that has no docs. I mean, they don't really care about your financial standpoints to buy the properties. This is a big indicator as well of what will happen in the market too, like it did back then. So I'm looking at all these things. I want you to really understand just how powerful this is for you as an investor or as a person trying to really maximize the potential here in Austin, Texas for buying and for selling. You can still sell homes for well more than it's worth in some degree, but also if you're buying, this is the best time to do so. And as points drop, you will have less opportunities out there because now more people are doing it too. But I do think a big part of this is due to credit cards, it's due to higher loans, due to inflations, and also the biggest one would be job layoffs. So I hope this is helpful for you. I love sharing all things real estate and interest rates and psychology with you all on this channel. Help you the edge that you need to stay informed moving forward. If you need help with buying or selling real estate, down below, link in the description in the first comment section. Happy to call for you, obviously for free, kind of walk you through what to expect, next steps, how to get started in real estate, or how to do more as well. Again, I'm one of the top agents in all of America, but especially here in Austin, I'm one of the top agents in my type of brokerage in this amazing city. But I do think that you should probably be prepared for, expect the best, but be prepared for the worst. I would not be over leveraging yourself if you don't need to. If you are trying to invest in properties, don't buy something with the hope that it drops more. If it does not work for you that day, then you should not move forward on that day. Because right now, a lot of investors, especially in Austin, which is a big indicator on the market situations, I'll break down more on future videos. If you see people who are buying properties not for cash flow, but instead for appreciation, taxes, or capital gains, that's a big indication that we'll probably see a market correction as time goes on, because right now we're in a hyper supply situation. There's 15 plus thousand homes in greater Austin, Texas, And for context, in 2021, there was just under 1,800 homes because of a lot of different reasons. So the more that rates drop, we'll probably start seeing more people actually do refinances to get that lower rate. It means less homes in the marketplace, making it even harder to buy houses as well as a buyer or as an investor, or as off market, or the few people who need to move and don't want to move. So really keep that in mind when you look at your next steps in real estate. You can never time the market. It's impossible. Again, my team's done $1.6 billion in transactions over the past few years. And I can almost guarantee you there's a small amount of people in there that time the market perfectly. There'll always be some kind of outlier. Oh, but I bought a year sooner or a year later. There'll always be that situation. Just impossible. There's no crystal ball. But we do know that right now with federal cuts that rates are lowered. You should buy before you need to or before you really want to, I guess, in my mind, because then you can just refinance later on, but don't bank on that. Like, if you can't afford it now, don't do it. If you were selling, like I said before, if you price correctly, you do marketing. Like for us, I have a TV show. I reach millions of people every single year for social media, and some are small. When I list my clients' properties, we sell super quick and for a lot of money due to that understanding, psychology, and also exposure. So don't let the market, don't let the news make you deterred, but just know that you should be informed, you should understand what's happening, and that you have opportunities right now to get amazing deals, to still sell houses, and don't wait for rates to drop even more. I know I'm like a dead horse right now, literally sinking in the earth. I understand how important this is to know. And of course, over here, a whole breakdown from all things from the selling perspective for a whole playlist for y'all up above as well. I also talk about the market as a whole for Austin, Texas for you too on the selling basis. Also works with buyers too. Hope this is helpful for y'all. Again, make sure you like, subscribe, share with your friends. I will see you at the top, and thanks for being here.